welcome back to our show. Lucky enough to have a good friend of mine and the good friend of the show, Aubrey Cohen, joining us from the Seattle PI. Aubrey, how are you?
Oh, doing pretty well. Getting over a little cold. It's winter, so it's to be expected.
Yeah, well, again, Happy New Year. I haven't seen you since the New Year.
Yeah, and Happy New Year to you. Did you have a good holiday?
I did. And like I said, it continues to go with as far as the Seahawks will carry it.
My Eagles are long gone, so I've adopted the Seahawks.
There you go. I'll let you do that. The holidays really, start in December, obviously, and December is was the subject of a piece that you just wrote for the Seattle PI. Tell me a little bit about where your views are on the Seattle real estate market as a whole.
Well, it's always a little hard to tell from December because not a lot happens. Everybody's kind of preoccupied with the holidays, and so, I look at new homes that come on the market every day, and you can look in December and not all that many come on, and not all that many sell. But that said, there are a few things of note. In terms of the sales last month, the sales were still up from a year ago. Prices were up. If you look in King County, it was 18%. That's pretty good, almost 19%. But we had pending sales, which are actually down a little bit, which is interesting. And so I talked to my friend Glenn Cohen over at UW about that. And one of the ideas he had was that last December was actually after the market had started to pick up. And that usually happens with any change in the market is kind of have 1 month where that change takes effect. And so for a while, your year-over-year stats are going to be up until you get back to that where you're comparing to that month the year before when things really started to take off or sink, as the case might be. And then all of a sudden the comparisons look different. And that's one thing that may be happening. And the other is there's just so few homes on the market that people aren't finding something to buy. If there's no home out there, you're not going to, no matter how many, no matter how interested you are, you're not going to buy it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to what I think when I think about that, it's a house and a home still is shelter, and if you can't go get other shelter because you can get a good deal on your house right now, you're probably not going to go live in the woods.
Yeah, and I think there was a time when people in the last in the bubble years, people would find something that would do and they'd buy it, and these days I think people have. If there's one lesson that at least at the moment people have learned, it's that you got to buy something you like. You got to buy something nice because you have to have some confidence that it's going to continue to be worth something, and you have to be willing to accept that you might have to stay there a while. That even if you're not all that thrilled with it, you used to think that I'm not all that thrilled with it, but I could flip it in a year and buy something else, and you have to be ready to stay in it for a while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, the interesting numbers that you have in your article are 1.6 and 1.7 months worth of homes on the market at the current pace.
Yeah, 1.6 months in Seattle, 1.7 countywide. It's a rough measure. You just take the number of homes on the market and divide it by the number of sales, and
but that's like nothing, right? I mean, that
is nothing.
That's nothing. I mean, that's like walking into Walmart and they have all they have left is Rice Krispies, and but nobody wants Rice Krispies.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Not only is it not a lot of homes, but those homes that are there are kind of the remainders. It's like you get to the, as you say, or I'd like to think of you get to the grocery store sometimes on a Sunday afternoon, and all the nice eggplants have been bought, and all the ones that are left are the ones that are kind of bruised and ugly.
Obviously, you guys that live a healthier lifestyle, if you're buying eggplants and I'm buying Rice Krispies, but to each their own, I suppose. Well, and I think that is really what starts to happen. I mean, in fact, in your article, Glenn Crellin said that the inventory is basically non-existent.
Yeah, and so it's kind of hard to know where the market is right now because of that. I think what will happen, and this is what Glenn Crellin thinks, and I agree, is in the new year, some new homes will come on the market. So we should see some inventory increase soon, and then in the spring, when we get to the selling season, that'll be the real telling point.
Mm-hmm.
I think people, you have a couple of things going on with the rising prices. Some people who couldn't afford to sell before, basically because they were underwater, they owed more than their home was worth. They're in a position now to sell. Some other folks are going to be looking to move up, and they just have to get their homes ready and get them on the market. So it'll be we'll have to see when we hit that spring selling season what that balance looks like. I think we're not going to stay under 2 months of supply, but it might take us a while to get more up to what we think of as a balanced market.
I had this conversation a couple weeks ago in that at some point something has to give, right? I mean, at some point in time, either people are going to have to pay more for houses, which will then bring more houses on the market if people are paying more, or you're going to end up in this stagnant area. And if people, as Amazon builds all their new office space and new jobs continue to be created in the area, I mean, at some point in time, something just has to give, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it could take a while. We are lucky in Seattle in that we do have a decent amount of hiring going on, and we still have a lot of people moving to our area. So you would think something would have to give. Right now, we have a lot of apartments. A lot of the folks who are coming to take these jobs, they're young people. They like to live in urban areas. So they could decide to rent for a while. Eventually those folks are probably going to pair up and they'll want to start families and want to have houses. But
little Amazon babies, like
that's right.
Amazon and Microsoft marrieds.
I wonder if they get.
I just like how you said they're all going to pair up.
But
techie kids.
But we do have a lot of apartments for now, and so and we seem to be heading for a situation where we're potentially going to have an oversupply of apartments. So rents could be attractive for a while, so that there might not be as much pressure as you might think on the for sale housing market. But I think we are going to see people putting their homes on the market. We're going to see some more people looking to move up. I think people are out there looking for those entry-level homes, which are the sort of catalyst. Those first-time home buyers are a catalyst for the rest of the market. And I think that's there. And I think once there's an attractive product for them, they'll buy it, and then that'll get everything else going. So we'll see what happens this spring with that.
Well, Aubrey, also in your article, you talked about how Lennox Scott, the CEO of John L. Scott Real Estate, said the market won't even change this year.
Well, what he's talking about are the attractive conditions for buying a house. The low interest rates, our job growth. I think he expects it to remain tight. Those conditions are making it attractive for people to buy homes, and I think he expects inventory to remain tight in the more attractive areas, specifically in the urban areas. One point Glenn Krellin made, which I didn't really highlight in the article, is that if you look at, I talked about a 19% year-over-year increase in the home sale price. That's actually a little misleading because if you look at individual areas within King County, there's no area that increased that much. What that means is that the higher-priced areas made up a higher proportion of the sales, so that's going to increase the median price. Well, I think what's going on there is there's an increasing attractiveness to these close-in urban areas, and that's where the prices are a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are less interested in living farther out where they have to drive to everything. It's not only driving to work, but people like to be able to walk to a store or a restaurant. So I think those close-in areas, they are going to remain tight.
Well, and as David Bell said before you came on, it's not even King County as a whole is a tough, it's a tough cookie to crack versus having these individual areas like these MLS, numbered areas, which give a little bit more data on specific areas.
Yeah, but it's hard to look month to month when you get into smaller areas because you have such a swing in the number of homes that sell and the composition of what happens to sell. So if you talk about a change from 1 month to the next in a smaller area, those numbers are going to swing wildly. We see that even countywide when you look at condos because there's many few condos that sell than houses. So 1 month will be up, 11%. Another month the prices will be down. So you have to look over a longer period. But it is interesting when you see that none of those areas specifically matched the price appreciation countywide. Well, that means that the average house didn't go up by that much. It was a change in the composition of what sold.
Sure.
So that's helpful.
Sure. Makes a lot of sense. Aubrey, we do have to go to break. Thanks for joining us, man. Good to hear your voice.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Again, Aubrey Cohen with the Seattle PI. We do have to go to break. We'll be right back after these messages.